beautiful people. TikTok, Instagram, IGTV, podcast, massive. We are doing my thoughts on Loki episode literally one. There will be spoilers in this particular review, but what I want to do first of all is pretty much give you my non-spoiler take on it, and then I'm gonna go into scenes and moments that which will be spoilers, but potentially everyone has their own objective and subjective thoughts when they watch these type of videos. Because I'm gonna start off speaking about my views, which are not spoiler free, but then people are gonna be like, that's a spoiler. So if you're that kind of person, go watch Loki episode 1 and come back and watch this particular episode, this particular review, and so everyone is at peace, you know. So let's get into this. So I loved Loki from start to end. I found it to be action packed, fun, entertaining. Really kept the essence of Loki. Really just gave me the essence of what Loki is, and I really loved it. And I love the fact that what we've known about Loki, his personality, the disrespect for authority, his sarcasm, his intensity, his passion, his character that we've all loved within the past 11 years within the MCU, was brought into this particular episode. So basically you got Loki, which was amazing, because usually when they do these type of episode, these series, or they do a part 2 or part 3 to a movie, they tend to tweak up the characters somehow, somewhere. But it was nice they stayed true to character and kept Loki for what he truly was, the god of mischief. And I do love Loki as a character. I think he's amazing. He's so dope, and he's just, you never thought in a million years he would be a fan favorite. The storytelling was dope. It was tight. It was fun. It was well put together. And for me, from just seeing this particular episode, I feel like it's really gonna open up the MCU in such an amazing way, just like Wanda and Vision has, and just like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier has. But I really loved it. I was like, oh my gosh. It was so well put together. Fun, action-packed, comedy, just the hype that was given to the show before the show aired. For me, it lived up to the hype, and it lived up to, of course, Loki being the god of mischief. It was really hands down dope. And one thing that I loved about it was, my fan theories that I had about Loki came true in this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I actually got it right. So I was pumped. So my question is, what were your thoughts on Loki? Drop your comments down below, and of course, literally let me know. But overall, it was so cool, so nice, so dope, so amazing, and I just really loved it. It was, it was just right. It was balanced. It was a balanced TV show. The right amount of storytelling, action, drama. It was like a proper prepared meal. The right level of sugar, salt, wherever it might be, just balanced and ready for us to ingest and take and eat. So that's my thoughts pretty much on Loki, and I super enjoyed it. 100 million %. I look forward, like I said, to seeing how Loki opens up the MCU. This first episode, really left me with a lot of questions. I was like, like, what's gonna happen? It left me with a lot of questions to ask, which I think most people felt that way when they watched this episode. But yeah, well put together. Tom Hiddleston smashed it. And it was well good. Like, it kind of left you with not knowing what the episode was about. It kind of reminded me like watching an episode of The Blacklist, where it left you with more questions than answers, which is, how I think pretty much TV shows should be, not be so predictable and so forth. And of course, one thing I think for me that a lot of people love about Loki is the fact that he's unpredictable. Is he good? Is he bad? Who does he trust? Does he trust himself? Like, what makes Loki tick? What makes Loki tick? And that was one thing that I loved about this particular episode, because it went into the character of what makes Loki Loki. It was well put together. So it just pretty much just gave us more in-depth storytelling of what Loki is and how he should, well, not how he should be, but what he truly is. And that was something, I think, me personally, that a lot of people are asking for within the past 11 years. Like, oops, who is Loki? Like, what does Loki stand for? Why does he do this? Why does he do that? And Marvel found a very, very good way to tell that particular story within these 6 episodes, on which I look forward to see how they explain that in depth and go into the character. So I look forward to seeing what comes out of Loki, the series, what's gonna happen to him and so forth. Like, now he's back. Like, what's gonna happen to him? So it was well good. One thing that I found is they really explained that concept of time travel. The concept of time travel was very well put together, very easy to digest. But of course, when you explain time travel with movies, you're always gonna ask like questions that will lead you into loopholes. Like, like time travel always messes people up. You can explain it thoroughly in a TV show or a movie or a comic, but then, like, so if he goes back in time and he changed time, does that mean when the time in the present has changed, or does that mean now in the past it's going to change? Does that mean the present is the future and the future is the past and the far and the present and blah blah blah? Like, time travel becomes very, very complicated, very, very complicated, and like very complicated. But in this particular episode, for me, they really explain the concept of time travel much easier, um, easy to digest. I really feel that also um, this episode, or Loki in general, as it revolves around time travel, that it's gonna be, I guess, the show that's really gonna open Marvel up more within time travel. Of course, we saw time travel within Avengers Endgame, but I feel this particular series is gonna take that to literally another level, 100%, 100%. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it, and like I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it that much. But I love it. I just loved it. I was like, yes, yes, yes. And one thing that I loved about it even more was, I was like, can Loki is Loki able to have his own TV show? Like, or is he a character that, or is he like does he work better within like team up movies, like when he's with Thor, or like when he's with the Avengers and so forth? Or can he actually hold his own and have his own movie? And it kind of, or TV show, and it kind of proved to me in this episode that, like Loki has, he's what's the word? He's not a one dimensional character. He has so many aspects to him that haven't really been explored. And his personality, his energy showed me that yes, he can basically have his own TV show and hold his own TV show, or even hold his own movie. And who knows, we might even get a movie basically from this particular series. I mean, it happened with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so why not Loki? But it also showed me like how Tom Hiddleston can act, how he can go into different facets of this character: intensity, love, emotion, anger, happiness. Just like Sebastian Bass and Anthony Mackie, who play the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, really went deep into their characters and showed us a different aspect of them that we never actually saw within the movies. Just like Paul Bettany and oh my gosh, I forgot her name, Elizabeth Olsen, that plays, of course, the Vision and Wonder and Vision. We really saw parts of these characters that we've never seen within the MCU. So it was nice to see that particular element with Loki in this particular episode, which was really, really, really well. So that's pretty much my take on. That's my take, pretty much, in regards to the spoiler free. Now we're gonna go into pretty much the spoilers. Like, first of all, they introduced the multiverse. They introduced the time stream. They showed us how pretty much time came into being into the MCU, which was totally well dope and amazing. They showed us the people, forgot their names now, who actually were the ones that conjured up and basically restructured the time stream into one particular stream, because they did say there was different realities or so for fighting. And then what happened was eventually they decided to make it into one time stream to simplify it. But when somebody steps out of line, it impacts the time stream. So they have to send the TVA to basically to deal with the situation. Oops. So that's my strap for my camera. So to basically in regards to Loki's situation, the reason he was taken by the TVA because he pretty much disturbed the time stream. It was like seeing pretty much like it was like watching the Umbrella Academy, which is pretty cool, pretty nice. I felt the show was very emotional in regards to, of course, seeing Loki, seeing his life. He saw his dad die. He saw his mum die. He saw himself becoming friends and really having that brotherly love with Thor. He saw Thanos killing him, and he cried, and that was so emotional. It's like, oh my gosh, like that was intense. So him seeing all of that has now changed his character. Period. Him seeing that, it's like his purpose was like to his purpose. He said his purpose was to rule, but now he's seen all of that. Like, what's his purpose now? What does the MCU hold for Loki? And of course, he can't go back to his time stream because he knows what he knows. So now what does Marvel do with Loki? What happens to this character at the end? Does he work for the TVA, going around arresting criminals who are interfering within the time stream? Or does he get elevated? Or does he go to a particular universe and live there the rest of his life? Like, what happens to Loki? What happens to Loki? So that was pretty cool to see. And it was very emotional to see that again. To see Loki. Like, we all got emotional when we saw Loki die. But to actually see Loki, seeing himself getting his neck cracked by Thanos, that was very emotional. The way he cried, he was like, huh. And I think that was the catalyst that has made him turn into a new leaf. Because the one thing that every single person, I was thinking is like, what makes Loki tick? Why does he do the things that he does? And he basically said it. He's weak. He's weak. Him being weak and that insecurity of fear makes him want to control and rule. So we actually, in this particular instance, saw the essence of what makes Loki tick and why he's done the things that he's done within the past 11 years within the MCU. And that was well put together. It was classic. And they literally said it in a couple of sentences. No flashbacks, no nothing. Because we've all seen the whole 10, 11 years of Loki in the MCU. We know what he's going through. We don't need to see it again. We don't need to see Uncle Ben die again. We don't need to see Batman's origin story where his parents died. We all know what he stands for. So those particular lines that he gave to Mobius, if I pronounce his name right, gave us the reason what makes Loki, why he killed Phil Coulson, why he acts in such a particular way. And that's because he's insecure. He has fear. And within that insecurity and fear pretty much has molded him into the particular person that he basically is now. But now all of that is pretty much done and dusted. It feels like he's got that insecurity out of the way. So he's a changed man, a changed god of mischief. But we still can't trust Loki because even though he says this and this and this, you never know what Loki's really about. So it was for me, it was that part was so well put together, man. I mean, to give us that the missing part of Loki's origin story in that particular sentence really blew my mind. And it shows you how dope and insane and amazing in regards to how Marvel can tell a story. So well put together. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was well put together. And that moment where he actually was trying to get the Tesseract, he finds the Infinity Stones. He's like, and the guy's like, yeah, we have loads of them, man. We use them for paperweights. The fact that in that particular moment, he realized that the Infinity Stones hold no power where he is. So there's a Tesseract. In my personal opinion, it kind of shifted Loki's consciousness to thinking, hold on a second. I was after this my whole entire life. And they're just nothing to me. It kind of made me feel like he respects himself even more. That he's above the Infinity Stones. He's above everything else because they mean nothing where he is. Time means nothing. Where he is right now, it means nothing. It's all about him and the kind of person he chooses to be. And that was well put together. Can you imagine seeing Thanos trying to get the Infinity Stones? The whole 10, 11 years of the MCU was about the Infinity Stones, right? And then we finally see them, and they're worthless. They mean nothing, which also means where they are, they must be, because they haven't explained where the TVA really is. Like, what aspect of time are they in, or are they in the part where time doesn't exist? And if time doesn't exist, thought doesn't exist, which means they haven't been, means the energy behind all of the Marvel props, or like the vibranium, the Infinity Stones, they have no substance because they have no power, no time where they are. It's interesting. It's very, very, very interesting to think of it in that sense. And for me to see that particular moment was amazing. I really loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, nothing works here. His power didn't work. His magic didn't work. And I think that was because he was also on. Well, they haven't explained it, but was it because he had that lock on his neck, or was it because they chose, or was it because his powers? Wait, I'm totally tongue twisted. His powers didn't work because he had that particular. Did he have that lock, or is it the fact that where he is within the TVA, even without that particular lock, collar, whatever, it wouldn't work anyway because they're in the part where he doesn't really exist. He's not in his time stream, so nothing exists, which is insane. I love the intro, seeing the first scene, basically to Loki was well put together. Seeing the Avengers, seeing they added a bit more scenes of what we saw when we saw Loki in Avengers Endgame. The fact that he was taking the total piss out of Captain America was fun because he done that also in Thor: The Dark World. To see the Avengers and all the characters, I mean, all the Avengers was amazing. I was like, oh man, and to hear the intro, the Avengers intro, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back. We're back to Avengers Assemble. So that was well put together. And apparently where he actually landed in that desert. I heard one of the Easter eggs was that's where Iron Man was in the first Iron Man movie when he was trying to explain. But also, Mongolia is pretty much in the Marvel comic book universe, and that's where Genghis Khan pretty much is. So is that an Easter egg to say Genghis Khan is actually coming to the MCU? Who knows? It was quite interesting when they also depicted the picture of the devil. I believe Mobius was speaking to that little girl, and he was like, "Who did this?" And she was like, and she points to the window, and you see the devil. So is that Mephisto? Because we all thought Mephisto was pretty much coming. One thing I did want to say, the reason you can't really see a lot of me is because my camera is pretty much broke. So you know where you screw on the Gorilla Pod at the bottom of the camera, the pin's broke, so I can't mount it to anything, which is why I'm in this awkward position. So please forgive me. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Is Mephisto coming to the MCU? Who knows? But the fact they've opened up the multiverse, does this mean that Loki will be traveling in time, but to different aspects of the multiverse to really put time back into its correct time? Because they said when Loki took the Tesseract, he disturbed all of time. And of course, the question is, this? Wait, let me not go into that right at this particular moment. But yeah, what does that mean for the MCU? Now, does that mean when they've introduced the multiverse, does that mean Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to be connected to Loki? Who knows? One thing that's pretty interesting is what will happen to Loki in regards to, will he ever see Thor again? Like, that has to happen, man. Because in that particular universe, he's dead. But knowing Loki, he'll find a way to get back to Thor if he has to say something to Thor. But yeah, the fact they opened up the time stream, the fact they mentioned the multiverse again, it's like the third time we've heard it. Now we've heard it in Doctor Strange, Spider-Man Far From Home, and now Loki. But yeah, I love that particular scene when they showed you that And the way they spoke about the multiverse, they broke it down in literally in a couple of seconds. Within about 2 minutes, they told you what the multiverse was. Oh man, it was so amazing. It was so well put together. Like the storytelling was out of this world. I loved it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a well put together. It was well put together the way they explained everything, and just to see the emotional rush of Loki, to see his powers being stripped away, to see his ability, to see his mind slowly like giving way, because he thought it was all a, when he was seeing his life, he thought it was all a facade, it was fake, it was magic, it was an illusion. And then when he finally found out it was actually true, the way it hit him when he went back and he saw that his mother had died and his father had died, and his connection with Thor, how they became brothers, and him dying, it really hit him on the mental level. He was like, oh my gosh, it's actually real. So now what do I do? Like, who am I? What is my purpose? Because we all knew his purpose was like supposed to what? Rule Earth, universe. But now, what is going to happen to Loki? And that is the question that is on my mind. Like, what happens to Loki after these 6 episodes or 5 episodes? And will there be a season 2 of Loki, or will there be a Loki movie? Like, there has to be a Loki movie. I really feel that there will be a Loki movie somewhere, somehow. He deserves it, Tom Hiddleston. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts, my spoiler thoughts to a degree. It was an amazing, power-packed, well put together episode. It was airtight. It was airtight, man. Like, I really enjoyed it, just to see where Loki went. And it was quite interesting to see, like, what would have happened if Loki never, like, you kind of see what would have happened in a particular universe or particular time stream, if Loki. Wait, I'm getting myself tongue twisted. This is like a what if. So, what if basically Loki escaped in Avengers Assemble, the movie? What would have happened if he took the Tesseract? So it's like, that's what I feel also when I saw this episode. I was like, what if Loki took the Tesseract? Like, the Avengers never would have assembled. Ultron, the Vision would have never been formed with the Mind Gem. How would have things played out if Loki escaped? And that's the question. It's like, we're kind of seeing that play out right now in the MCU, and that's cool. That is really, really, really cool. It's like a what if, but it's not a what if, but it is a what if. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I look forward to seeing how it's going to end, and of course, who is the other Loki? Is it Lady Loki? Because they showed us pictures, but were those pictures fake? Who is this particular Loki? And why is he or she killing? See? You just don't know with what's going to happen with a Marvel TV show or movie, because they always give you the so-called the script or the images you want to see, but when you see it, it's completely different. Just like the fake trailers and fake trailers of Infinity War. They kept that airtight. Even the actors and the actresses had fake scripts. They didn't know what was going to happen. And that's pretty much something that I think every single TV series movie should do. Keep the fans guessing. Literally 100 million quadrillion percent. I really, really, really feel, really feel they should do that, because it makes things just easier. Yeah, overall, man, like I was saying, what if, what if Loki escaped in Avengers Endgame? Can you imagine they did the same thing with Phil Coulson? Like, I've always said, like, what if Phil Coulson never died? Wait, I take it back, sorry. The Avengers didn't assemble because of Loki. No, they did. They assembled because Loki killed Coulson. But Coulson's death was also the trigger that really caused the Avengers to assemble. So it was like, imagine if they did a what if, and like, what if Coulson never died? What if Loki never killed Coulson? The Avengers would never have assembled. Coulson would have never been uh, the director of Shield, and things would have turned out completely different within the MCU. So it was, for me, it was Loki and Coulson that really got the Avengers to assemble. Without Loki killing Coulson, the Avengers would never have assembled. So it will be quite interesting to see if they were to actually continue this. If they was to actually somehow put this into the Loki TV series, because he's gonna be traveling through time. Can you imagine if he disrupts the timeline by saving Coulson from himself? I don't know, just throwing it out there. But knowing Loki, he's a smart guy. At the end of this series, he's definitely gonna do something to step away from this whole time stream variant thing. But what will happen to him? Because he can't go back, as we said, can't go back to his timeline. He can't, because he knows what he knows. But unless they wipe his memory, but then it's gonna be like, does he really want to go back to that particular timeline and die? Like, I don't know. It's just very interesting to see what they're gonna do with Loki now. But that's my spoiler thoughts on Loki. Is there anything else that I literally missed? No, I don't think. I loved it. Banging, epic, amazing. It was just airtight, well balanced, well put together, and I really can't wait to see episode 2. But I think what really made this episode really great is, again, you see the human side of Loki. You know, what makes him tick, what he's been holding on to for many years. You know, why he acts the way he acts, why he kills. And that was very well put together. So it was nice, because it's nice to see when these heroes get put into those situations where they just act out who they truly are in regards to really showing themselves, showing their true essence. And that's what happened pretty much with this episode. So the next episode, I cannot wait. I really can't wait to see Loki traveling through time and doing his thing. But I think this show is not going to be about time travel to a degree. Well, it will be, but it's going to have a much bigger part, a much bigger part. It's quite interesting. It's a very strange, twisted show, and I feel it's going to be a very surprising show, just like Wanda and Vision. I wonder what cameos and what cameos, or who will cameo in this particular episode. Like, in Wanda and Vision, we had, Quicksilver, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Who did we have? We had, like, characters like the woman that, I forgot her name, that recruited US agent. So who are we going to have, basically, in Loki? It's quite interesting, because there has to be, like, a known character. Like, in Wonder and Vision, we had Quicksilver, right? It wasn't really Quicksilver. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we had Baron Zemo, right? Sharon Carter. And in Loki, who are we going to have? Are we going to see more surprises from the Avengers, Thor, or anyone else within the time stream? You know what would be really hilarious, insane, is if Loki knows what he knows right now, but how he dies, if he actually goes back in time and finds a way to actually kill Thanos, which will change everything. But will they allow him to do that? Because they did say in the episode that the Avengers going back in time to do what they did, they were supposed to do it, but he wasn't. So with that being said, this camera's kind of hot still. With that being said, beautiful people, that's my thoughts on Loki. Hope everyone enjoyed. What was I going to say to you? What were your thoughts on Loki? Drop your comments down below. Let me know your fan theories. Did you expect, did your fan theories pan out to be true in this particular episode of Loki? If yes or no, Let me know in the comments down literally below. But yeah, I loved it. Can't wait for episode 2. And I wonder if we're gonna see maybe a time travel scenario where Loki goes back to see his mum or his dad. Can't wait. Loki. Or what would be really interesting is if the TVA show Loki show us what happens in that particular timeline when Loki disappeared. Because if that timeline's been disturbed, and that's something I forgot to mention, then that particular timeline has been disturbed, right? So what happened? Loki goes away, steals the Tesseract, and it impacts all of obviously reality on time. But that particular timeline, what happens? Because we all know it was that particular moment when the Avengers went back in time. They took the Tesseract and they used all the Infinity Stones to pretty much to snap everything back into existence. So now Loki's taken the Tesseract. What do the Avengers do? And what happens? Oh, but hold on a second. Unless they go back in time and they stop Loki from stealing the Tesseract, and they take the Tesseract, and then Loki still gets imprisoned and gets taken back to Asgard. Oh man, it's insane. The time travel thing, it's insane. It'll blow your mind, man. But that could be done also. Anyway, that was something I wanted to just say at them. Anyway, what do you think of that particular aspect of time travel that I just mentioned? Drop your comments down below and let me know. My throat's hurting. I'm gonna have a shower. I'm hot. It's like 25 degrees here today, 26 degrees. And yeah, man. That being said, peeps, I'll catch everyone in a bit. Click, like, share, follow, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll catch everyone in a bit. Peace out.